Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's fantastic. Everything here is good, despite my bench being a total mess right now. My kids were here last night, and my oldest wanted to take on a carving project, and I said sure. And I helped her get a block of wood ready, that sort of thing. I went today and applied for a passport. I am 42 years old, going on 43. I've never had a passport before, which has always been baffling to my European friends. Every time I talked to Ignacy in the past about maybe going to Europe for conventions or whatever, he's always like, "Do you have a passport?" And I'd say no, and he was like, why, my European friends are like baffled at the fact that I don't have a passport because and on top of that, they're baffled that it costs so much. I think today I spent $210 because I paid for expedited shipping or expedited turnaround time. Basically I paid for faster processing. They're baffled that I've never had a passport, and they're baffled that it costs money because I think that it's just kind of a state-issued thing. At least in Poland. I don't know if it is in the rest of Europe. I'm actually very curious about that. But I know for Europeans, it's a strange thing to not have a passport because you're just so close to, just other countries. But I think that they, as difficult as it is for me to imagine living in close proximity to a bunch of different countries, I think it's just as difficult for Europeans to imagine just how vast the United States is. And I've never had a need to leave here because if I want to see different cultures, I can see different cultures within my own country. I just drive there. Don't have to have anything special for that. But anyway, the point is, I went there and I did that, and I had to do, get the birth certificate thing. I don't have my birth certificate. I've never had it. I think my mom still has one at her house. I think in, my entire life, I've had to show it twice to ever, and that was to join the military and to get a marriage license. So I've never really needed it to prove myself. That was a strain, I had to go to the courthouse and pay money and that sort of stuff, which was fairly simple. And altogether, the process is pretty straightforward. But it's also one of those things that when Ignacy would ask me why I didn't have one, it was simply, one, I've never needed one, and two, I can't afford it. And so that's kind of the point of this story, is that when I first met Ignacy, and for the 7 years that our friendship has been going on, for the 6 of those years, I have been very, very, very poor. We've talked about it before. Not poor as in I live, in shambles, but poor as in there is no leftover money at the end of the month. And so I just simply couldn't afford it. There was no possible way for me to put aside $200 to go get a passport. That wasn't an option. And so what ended up happening was M booked a trip for us, or M put us on a waiting list for a trip, and we weren't sure whether we were going to get it. She sort of kind of told me to keep a particular set of days open on my calendar, but didn't tell me why. And then yesterday she got notification that we're on the trip, we're good. And so she came running out and she said, "You have to go get a passport." That was yesterday. I just so happened to have the morning off today because I needed to take my daughter to a doctor's appointment. So I took a half day. And so that worked out conveniently because I was able to go online. My local post office had an opening, scheduled it, went to the courthouse, got my thing, done. But the part about that is I just had $210. I could just go do that on a moment's notice. That's never happened before in my life. I mean, it has. Let's be honest. There was times where I was poor and had bad money management choice, or made bad money management choices. When I say I was poor a few years ago, I was making very good money choices. There was just no money. There was times in my life where I had extra money. I just didn't manage it well. And I think that's... for one, it was a feeling of... a very strange feeling, because we've talked in the past about how just a few years ago, coming up with, you know, buying something like this $50 clamp was just out of the question. Like, I can't afford that. And it was just a pipe dream to own it. And it would give me anxiety to think about buying this. Today, I had no anxiety about buying a $210 passport. That's a very stark change, you know, and it makes me really question. You know, there's the idea of the everyman politician. That doesn't exist because those people haven't ever had to struggle like that. Or maybe they have, but that was years and years and years ago. For me, it's been less than a year since I've been able to do things like just go buy a $210 plane or passport. I've not been able to do that. You know, that's only happened in the past few months that I've been able to have a savings. I've been able to have a spending account like that. And I've already forgotten the feeling, right? I've already forgotten what it was like. Not forgotten, that's not true. But the feeling, the gut-wrenching decision to spend money is gone with just in a few months of being able to do that. And I think that's pretty, I mean, concerning, I guess, for policymakers, for people who really have to make decisions for the average person. And the average person in America is not wealthy, right? The average person in America is living paycheck to paycheck. It has a difficult time coming up with $50. But the average politician has no concept of what that's like because they've never had to deal with that. They've never had to make decisions between, you know, ramen or you know, paying their cell phone bill or whatever. And that's it's kind of tough, you know. I hope that I have a lot of things, especially in this space. I have a lot of things around me that were the only way I was able to get it was because lots of you supported me. Lots of you sent me stuff. I have so many tools that were sent to me by people who watch these videos. I have literal financial donations that have helped me stay afloat in times of need. And I hope I can repay that someday, you know. It's odd to be in a position now where in maybe a year or two, I'll have a cushion and I'll be able to pay that stuff forward and help somebody else out. And that's, I guess it's just remarkable how much better my life is right now. In moments like today, moments like yesterday, when Em was super excited and told me to go get a passport, and me going, okay, and being able to do that, it really puts things into perspective. You know, it really helps me see where I am versus where I was, and where I was not a good place. So, I just wanted to, I don't know, maybe think about that a little bit. Think about that with you. Help process that. Because, you know, I called a plumber. I found a plumber. I called him. They can't get to me immediately or probably even soon, but that's okay. I'm not ready for them immediately or even soon. But when the plumber comes and looks at my gas line and moves it, I'll be able to pay for that. I'll have that. I'll be able to afford that. And that's pretty cool. So, I don't know. I guess it really... I said when I got my current job, my pay raise, that it was a life-changing amount of money, and that's facts. Like, it has changed my life. And I'm good. So anyway, just wanted to share that. Don't know why. Didn't have much else to say. It is game night. I'm going to go play games. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is iridescent. It is an adjective meaning showing luminous colors that seem to change depending on the angle from which they are viewed. We passed broken shells in the iridescent film of egg splatter reflected under streetlights where a battle had taken place. Jeffrey Ford, an American fantasy author. Iridescent. I-R-I-D-E-S-C-E-N-T. E-N-T. I don't know if I said the E. That's a good word. I do like iridescence. Don't think I have anything else to add. Just a good word.